He said, "I don't want to die here," then sprinted out of a Bulgarian airport, never to be seen again. Days earlier, 28-year-old Lars Mittank had been enjoying a summer holiday with friends in Golden Sands, but a strange series of events, an argument at a bar, a mysterious assault, and sudden paranoia would spiral into one of the most baffling disappearances of the decade. What caused this seemingly healthy young man to flee from the airport, leaving behind his passport, phone, and luggage? And why did he believe someone was trying to kill him? Welcome to Crimes That Haunt Us. We release a new case every Sunday at 6 p.m, so hit subscribe and don't miss the next one. And let me know your thoughts on this case in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. To understand how a seemingly ordinary young man could disappear without a trace, we need to go back. Before the panic, before the airport, before the mystery began. Lars Mittank wasn't a troubled drifter or a thrill-seeker. He was a 28-year-old from northern Germany with a steady job, a close-knit family, and a girlfriend waiting at home. He wasn't the kind of person you would expect to vanish, but as you'll see, something changed during that trip to Bulgaria. Something subtle at first, then increasingly strange. And by the time Lars stepped into Varna airport alone, the man his loved ones knew had already begun to slip away. Lars Mittank was born on February 9, 1986 in Berlin, Germany, and raised in the small towns of Itzehoe and Marne. At 28, he was an engineer at a power plant in Wilhelmshaven, about 150 kilometers from his hometown. Athletic, responsible, and deeply connected to his family and long-term girlfriend, Lars lived a stable, grounded life. He loved supporting his favorite soccer team, Werder Bremen, and spent his free time hunting, fishing, and diving. Those who knew him described him as cheerful, cautious, and health-conscious, a man who avoided drugs, rarely partied, and watched his diet meticulously. After his father's stroke in 2012, Lars frequently returned home to help, balancing his demanding job with visits to family and old friends. His life was predictable, routine. So when he made a last-minute decision to join 5 high school friends on a trip to Bulgaria after one pulled out last minute, it raised eyebrows. His mother Sandra later recalled, "As his mother, I was very surprised about this type of vacation, as I didn't know this from Lars." Among his party-loving friends, Tim Schultz, Paul Roman, and 3 others, Lars was the odd one out, a reserved figure in a world of revelry. On June 30, 2014, Lars and his friends landed in Varna, Bulgaria, checking into the Viva Club Hotel in Golden Sands, a resort town known as the New Borlaman for its wild nightlife. The contrast with Lars' active hobbies was stark. Still, he seemed to embrace the trip at first. He swam in the Black Sea, played beach soccer, and cheered during FIFA World Cup matches as temperatures soared to 40 degrees Celsius. Paul Roman remembered, "We relaxed on the beach, swam, played football. He was in a good mood." Yet Lars stood out. While his friends indulged in the party scene, he stuck to soups and salads, texting his girlfriend regularly to maintain a sense of normalcy. His health-conscious habits, avoiding fast food and excessive drinking, set him apart in the hedonistic atmosphere of Golden Sands. On the night of July 5th, Lars and his friends visited the mystery of Golden Sands Bar. As a passionate Werder Bremen fan, Lars playfully swapped table flags, sparking a trivial argument with a group of Bayern Munich supporters. Friends, including Tim and Paul, witnessed the exchange. It was verbal, not physical, and resolved quickly. But what happened next would send Lars' life spiraling into the unknown. At around 4 a.m. July 6th, the group left the bar. The group decided to head to a McDonald's a kilometer away from the bar. Lars, true to his health-conscious nature, declined to join them, saying he'd walk back to the Viva Club Hotel alone. What happened in those early morning hours remains one of the case's greatest mysteries. Lars later claimed he was attacked by 4 men, possibly Russians or Bulgarians, hired by the Bayern Munich fans. He said they caused a ruptured eardrum and possibly a jaw injury, but no witnesses, no CCTV, and no physical evidence ever confirmed the assault. His friends found the story strange, and a private investigator later hired by Lars's mother Sandra noted there was no evidence of an attack. Lars called his girlfriend later that morning, reporting ear pain and the alleged attack. She urged him to see a doctor, but Lars, believing no doctors were available on the weekends, continued the trip despite his discomfort. The rest of the day passed with no incident. Lars ate lightly from a beach fruit vendor who later described him as friendly, but subtle changes emerged. Friends noticed Lars declining the McDonald's visit and his eating sparingly, hinting at possible distress. By July 7th, Lars's ear pain became a serious concern, especially given his job's strict hearing requirements. At noon, he took a cab with one friend to see a general practitioner in Varna. The doctor diagnosed a self-reported ruptured eardrum and prescribed Cefprozil, a 500 mg cephalosporin antibiotic rarely used in Germany. Its rare side effects include anxiety and hallucinations, a detail that would later haunt the case. The doctor also advised Lars against flying due to cabin pressure risks and referred Lars to St. Anna Hospital. On the day everybody was due to fly home, Lars insisted to his friends, Tim, Paul, and the others, that they should fly home without him, citing his travel insurance. That evening at 8 p.m., a shuttle bus took them to the airport, leaving Lars alone in Bulgaria. At 8:40 p.m., Lars visited St. Anna Hospital where ENT specialist Dr. Krasimir Naidenov saw him. The appointment was a disaster. Dr. Naidenov mocked Lars and refused to communicate in English, leaving him feeling misunderstood and frightened. Lars Mittank later recalled Lars's words, "Mom, the doctor made fun of me. I'm scared. I don't understand him and he doesn't speak English." Lars paid the 120 livre, about 60 euros, for the visit and received another Cefprozil prescription. Between 9:41 and 10:05 p.m., a taxi driver took Lars to 2 separate pharmacies to collect 20 Cefprozil tablets. The driver then dropped him at Hotel Koller Varna, a cheap, noisy hotel in a rundown area described as shady by private investigator Andreas Gutig. The thin walls and chaotic environment likely amplified Lars's growing unease. At 10:10 p.m., Lars checked in, paying by credit card. He suspected the receptionist copied it, fueling fears of financial fraud. He then bought water at the bar, reportedly to take his medication, and retreated to his room. At 11 p.m., Lars called his mother, Sandra, from his hotel room. His voice was a whisper, laced with terror. "Mom, I'm in danger. I hear my heart beating." He recounted the bar argument, the hospital mockery, and his fear of credit card fraud, urging Sandra to cancel his card. She contacted the bank, which blocked it permanently. Though the call was unlike Lars, his whispered panic a stark departure from his usual calm demeanor. Between 1 and 2 a.m. on July 8th, Lars left Hotel Collar, returning by 2 a.m. His whereabouts during that hour are unknown, perhaps wandering Varna streets or hiding to calm his nerves. At 2:30 a.m., he called Sandra again, his voice trembling. "I don't know whether I should live or die." He claimed he was hiding high up from 4 men he believed wanted to rob or kill him. The high up reference suggested an elevated spot, perhaps an upper floor or stairwell, but his location remained unclear. Sandra, alarmed by his panicked tone, booked a bus ticket for 11:30 p.m. later that night, hoping to get Lars out of Varna safely. At 4:30 a.m., Lars called again, asking about Cefprozil's effects and saying he was in a hiding place, fearing for his life. Sandra booked a flight from Varna to Hamburg for 4:20 p.m. that day and arranged to send €500 via Western Union, anticipating his credit card block. By 5 a.m., Lars took a taxi to Varna Airport, around a 10-kilometer trip. A female airport worker shared the ride, later noting his dilated pupils likely caused by the Cefprozil, dehydration or heightened stress. The driver noted Lars was agitated and panicked. Neither she nor the driver saw any overt threats, but Lars's fear was palpable. At 6 a.m., Lars called Sandra from the airport, sounding relieved but urgent. He said he was seeing the airport doctor to confirm he could fly and reiterated his request to block his visa card. He then mentioned a Bavarian man who explained to him how to use Western Union to retrieve the €500. A mysterious figure who never came forward, leaving questions about whether he was real, imagined, or something more sinister. Sometime between 6 and 9 a.m., Sandra called Lars after transferring the €500. She heard murmurs and an echoey sound, assuming he was in a bathroom. Lars sounded distracted, possibly calmer, but offered no new details. At 9 a.m., Lars visited Dr. Kosta Kostov at the airport doctor's office. This sitting lasted approximately 42 minutes, where he was confirmed he could fly with his reported eardrum injury. Kostov noted a normal temperature of 37.2. He administered eardrops and cleared Lars to fly after he signed a waiver. Lars, described as nervous and erratic, refused additional tablets, likely wary of Cefprozil's side effects. At 9:42 a.m., a construction worker entered the doctor's office, likely due to ongoing renovations. Lars, already on edge, stood up, saying he needed the toilet. Then, in a chilling outburst, he shouted, "I don't want to die here. I have to get out of here." He fled, abandoning his backpack, his passport, phone, and wallet. The worker's entry, possibly routine, triggered a panic that may have been tied to Lars's fear of being pursued by 4 men. CCTV footage captured Lars' final moments at 9:42 a.m. Dressed in a yellow t-shirt, he sprinted out of the airport doctor's office, bolted through the terminal, and ran past police cars and a bus stop. CCTV footage shows Lars glancing over his shoulder, checking his back pocket, perhaps for his wallet or phone, both already left behind, before scaling a 2-meter perimeter fence at the edge of the airport. On the other side of that fence was a vast sunflower field stretching out toward the A2 motorway. Without hesitation, Lars vanished into it. It was broad daylight in a relatively open area, and yet that was the last confirmed sighting of him. His mother, Sandra, later said he ran as if he knew exactly where he was going. Canine dogs brought in by Bulgarian authorities tracked his scent from the airport grounds to the edge of the A2 highway where it stopped. This suggested one of two possibilities: that Lars may have hitched a ride, or that he crossed into the city's outer edge, the Varna suburb of Samolita just beyond the road. Several motorists later reported seeing a man who resembled Lars. He was described as moving erratically, leading some to assume he was a drunk tourist. But these sightings remain unconfirmed. Contrary to early claims that Lars disappeared into dense woodland, the terrain was relatively open, a stretch of roadside fields, not forest, making the theory of a vehicle pickup plausible. Despite this very specific geography, between an airport, a highway, and a populated suburb, no trace of Lars Mittank has ever been found. Police did conduct searches in the area, but details remain vague. No official maps were released, no footage, no thorough breakdown of the operation. No clothing, no body, nothing. It's as if Lars Mittank sprinted into the Bulgarian sunflowers and vanished into thin air. Missing CCTV footage from Lars's 6 a.m. arrival and the doctor's office deepened the mystery, frustrating Sandra and investigator Andreas Gutig. On July 9, 2014, alarm bells rang in Germany when Lars failed to return home. His family filed a missing person report, and his employer hired private investigator Andreas Gutig and a Bulgarian lawyer. Within days of Lars's disappearance on July 10th, his mother Sandra and private investigator Andreas Gutig contacted Western Union, confirming that Lars never collected the €500 she had sent him to escape Varna. The unclaimed money deepened the mystery, suggesting Lars either couldn't reach a Western Union location or chose not to. On July 10th, a colleague named Frank also visited Varna Airport but found no answers. By July 17th, Gutig was searching hospitals, shelters, and transient communities, finding no trace of Lars. Sandra arrived on July 24th, recovering Lars's abandoned bag. Its inventory listed Cefprozil tablets, first 10, then 7, but the tablets were missing, and a later inventory omitted them entirely, raising questions of tampering. Forensic tests of the bag and its contents found no illicit substances, only deepening the enigma. By September 2014, locals in Varna reported several sightings at hotels and shelters, but these leads went cold. A prostitute in Slančivo, 15 kilometers from Varna, claimed to have seen Lars, identifying him by a unique physical trait. She said he mentioned living in a large hotel, but no such place exists in Slančivo, hinting at possible amnesia or confusion. In 2015, a German truck driver reported picking up a disheveled hitchhiker near Berlin resembling Lars with weary eyes, but the sighting was never confirmed. Lars's mother Sandra maintains the Find It Lars Mittank Facebook page with over 55,000 members sharing flyers and updates. She believes Lars may be alive, possibly with amnesia, saying, Maybe the argument triggered something in him. Gutig ruled out foul play, finding no evidence of criminal activity. Lars's escalating paranoia, diluted pupils, and outbursts suggest acute stress or a brief psychotic episode, possibly triggered by the unverified July 4th assault, the dismissive ENT specialist, the noisy hotel collar, or Cefprozil's rare side effects, though there's no proof he took the medication. As of the airing of this documentary, Lars Mittank remains missing. No remains or evidence of harm have been found. Missing CCTV footage and contradictory accounts like Dr. Kostev's vague and differing descriptions of the intruder who walked into the office fuel the mystery. Sandra continues her search, unwavering. "I'm not giving up," she says. Lars Mittank's disappearance is a modern enigma. A story of a man who ran from an unseen threat, leaving behind everything he owned and everyone he loved. Despite years of uncertainty and countless leads, his fate is still unknown. Behind this enigma stands Sandra, his mother, whose tireless search and unwavering hope keeps Lars's story alive. Her strength in the face of heartbreak is a testament to the enduring bond of family and the profound human desire for answers. We honor Lars and we stand with those who continue to seek the truth in his disappearance. Thank you for watching and listening to Lars's story. Please feel free to add your own comments, thoughts, and theories down below, and we'll see you next time.